Shubor nakaslem jong udongsan Hima.
Ka Kynhun Myntri jong kesorkar jela, hane kesengi kan nyau tarik unopra arajar arpo, kala Shimrai, ya bun Tylli kimat kibadon kam. Kawai ni kimat kiba kesorkar jela kala Mynjur kedai, ka draft jong ka Meghalaya Procurement Preference Policy for Micro and Small Enterprises, arajar arpo. Kani kan penslur, haka sengkam sengjam, bat kam tam ban penyat yawi kimar, bapen mi nala ke jela. Ka Kynhun Myntri kala Mynjur ban pentrai kam ya kejing betha jong ka Ministry of Power jong sorkar pedeng habai dai berkejing siu ya ka bailot kesan. Shushu ka Kynhun Myntri kala Mynjur ya ka thop jong ki sngi shuti jong usnam arajar puai. Kala Mynjur ya ka draft jong ka Meghalaya Nursing Council Rules arajar arpo bat ka Meghalaya Nursing Council Regulations arajar arpo. Kesorkar kala Mynjur ya ka postgraduate diploma courses na ka benda ban pej ya ka jingduna jong ki specialist doctor hak jela bat kiwei de kimat kibadon kam.
Today the cabinet sat for not less than 2.5 hours starting from 11:30 and few decisions were taken as per the cabinet memo brought in by different departments. Number one is the proposal brought in by the Industries Department for approval of the cabinet on the draft of Meghalaya Procurement Preference Policy for Micro and Small Enterprises 2020. See, what happened was, I just wanted to brief you for your understanding. Previously, the state government used to adopt one preferential act, which we adopted that act on the basis of those units, any private unit set up within the state of Meghalaya. Any units means any producing units set up in the state. So 10% preference is given to these local entrepreneurs who produce their items. Again, from Power Department, where we have adopted the guidelines formulated by the Ministry of Power, Government of India, relating to payment of compensation towards the place of right of way, ROW, right of way for the transmission line. And this guideline was circulated by the Ministry of Power, Government of India, and state government of Meghalaya also adopted these guidelines. As all the states in India, they have to adopt that guidelines drafted and circulated by the Ministry of Power. And we will put it in place, this Meghalaya Procurement Preference Policy for Micro and Small Enterprises, because as you are aware that the Government of India has encouraged now the micro and small enterprises to set up in the respective states in the country, and also to encourage their products for using it in the states, in their concerned states. So next point, again from Health Department, there was a proposal from Health Department for creation of a special training to the physician, the MBBS, where it can be called specialist. I think you are all aware, those MBBS who wanted to continue their further studies as PG or as specialists, they can go outside the state, and then their duration of studies is more or less 3 years. So today, I'm happy to inform you that Health Department has proposed diploma training course for the MBBS, which is more or less, of course, below the below the specialist, but of course they will be called also specialist. Those MBBS who wanted to continue in their study for specialization, they can do that. And then today, the proposal submitted by Health Department, it is approved that henceforth, those MBBS who wanted to continue their further studies within the state, the government will create and set up a training center which is recognized all over the state. And the duration of this training is for 2 years, not 3 years. It is 2 years term. And after completion of this training, they will be called a specialist. But of course, below the normal specialist, where they need to go outside the state in different medical college. So this is a good news to the medical fraternity, where from now on they'll be able to continue their studies for 2 years. As you also know, we have huge shortage of specialist doctors. Meghalaya Minor Mineral Concession Rules 2016. Few amendment was made from Forest Department, and the amendment is inclusion of 2 more items. One is extraction of minor minerals from agricultural field for betterment of the agricultural land. Okay, because in that area it was excluded, and now it is allowed that any extraction of minor minerals, be it boulder, be it sand, be it earth, it is allowed, but it should be as per the prescribed norms or the process of getting a mining lease or a quarry permit has to be done by the concerned stakeholders. So we have included that. And then number 2 is extraction of minor minerals which is incidental in nature. Means again, be it a boulder or be it any items. Sometimes, when I construct a house, suppose now I construct a house. So while taking up the land development, so I found out maybe a big boulders, big stones were there. So ultimately we have to break that stone, that rock, and then it becomes a boulder, and that boulder is considered to be incidental, where it is allowed for transportation or for selling of that item. So these are the 2 items which ultimately the government has approved in by Labor Department, and the rules is relating to the act approved and notified during this month only. And the name of that act, I think you remember, all of you, is known as Meghalaya Identification, Registration (Safety and Security of Migrant Workers Act). Migrant Workers Act 2020. And now the Labor Department has brought the draft rules on the above act, and ultimately the cabinet is pleased to approve the rules as drafted by Labor Department. And this once these rules is in place, implementation for registration of the laborers will immediately take off. Okay, do you have State Legal Services Authority Rules 1998, and small changes was proposed by the concerned department, and that amendment or that changes is relating to the salary of the members of the Meghalaya State Legal Services Authority rules. And the Now the entitlement of the members is raised from 1 lakh rupees to 3 lakh rupees. From 1 lakh to 3 lakh rupees.